I have to admit, I've seen some technologically impressive games in the last few years. I often find myself impressed with the quality of most games now, as gaming hardware is much more advanced than it was a decade ago. This lets developers be creative with how they allow the player to interact with the game. In fact, many games boast about allowing the player to tackle objectives the way they want. Some games deliver, others don't. Hitman goes above and beyond. In Hitman, you're a hitman. Who would have guessed? The game is a third-person stealth game where you'll be taking out different targets in a variety of ways. The story follows your player character, Agent 47, an emotionalist hitman with extraordinary abilities. The overarching story is shown through short cinematic cutscenes after each level. Although I enjoyed it, I found it to be incomplete and not as engaging as I would have hoped. There wasn't enough of a reason for me to really care about the characters. Of course, this is Season 1, and I expect Season 2 to tie the loose ends. Nevertheless, it's a decent story with good production value, but shouldn't be the reason you get the game. It's the gameplay mechanics of Hitman that make the game the gem it is. Maps are not only large, but they also have multiple levels, and let me tell you, there are many ways to complete your objective or kill your target. In every map, there are a handful of opportunities that you can take part in. These opportunities are essentially predetermined waypoints that will allow you to kill your target in creative ways. For example, one opportunity lets you impersonate a fashion model that one of the targets is close with. Another lets you take the place of the target's yoga instructor. I've barely brushed the surface of the many fun opportunities this game has in store. The opportunities do a great job of streamlining the game and allowing the player to perform some really cool kills. In addition, waypoints can be turned off for the hardcore players that would rather figure out the opportunities themselves. So there you go. Of course, you don't have to take advantage of the opportunities, and finding your own ingenious ways to kill the targets is just as amusing. You're able to interact with so much of the environment, and a lot of scenery props can be used for distractions or destruction. You can overflow sinks, turn off generators, and mess with other equipment to distract guards. On the flip side, you can shoot chandeliers down, poison food or drinks, and even tamper with objects to turn them into deliverers of death. The environment is your playground, and there is a lot to discover. There are also many items scattered across the map that can aid you in your assassinations. Most of the items double up as a throwable distraction and a weapon. A blunt item knocks out enemies while a sharp item kills them. Some items have even more usage. For example, you can sabotage an electrical wire by fraying it with a screwdriver, or you can use a wrench to cause a motorcycle to leak. Items in this game feel useful for this reason, and sometimes a bit of pre-planning is required if you want to sabotage certain equipment. So you see, there are many ways to kill the targets, and naturally there are also many ways to infiltrate. One thing I like is that you can play this as a traditional stealth game if you really want to. Sneaking around and avoiding confrontation by finding secret routes or using distractions can be difficult, but also rewarding. However, the easiest way to infiltrate would be by wearing disguises. Different disguises can be used to legally trespass areas. For instance, a guard disguise can infiltrate most areas without raising suspicion, but a waiter can only infiltrate the kitchen and places where it makes sense to have a waiter. On the other hand, waiters and chefs can poison food and drinks without being detected and can also blend in doing relevant tasks, such as wiping off a table. Different disguises have different perks, and no disguise is overpowered. This is due to certain people being able to see through your disguise. These people have to be avoided, otherwise they'll become suspicious. The clever mechanic will always keep you on your toes and will make you weigh out the benefits of the different disguises. Now, let's get into the details. Let's say you happen to trespass an area on accident and a guard sees you doing it. In most games you'd be shot on the spot, but Hitman's NPCs, or non-playable characters, are some of the most advanced I've encountered. Upon trespassing, the NPC will ask you to stop. If you're away from an exit, the NPC will personally walk you to the exit and make sure you leave the area. Can you believe it? Now let's say you're wearing a disguise and an NPC happens to see through it. They'll become suspicious and start asking who you are. If you stand around, you'll eventually be discovered and forced into combat, but you can actually just run away and hide until the NPC drops their suspicion. Oh, okay, so what if an NPC sees you throw a brick at their face? Well, once they're awakened, they will know your disguise and will inform the other NPCs to look out for you, in which the game will label you as being hunted or compromised. Switching to a different disguise can make you anonymous once more, as the NPC may only be aware of the other disguise. The game also does an excellent job of making the NPCs seem aware. They'll react to the things you do and will also comment on you differently depending on the disguise you're wearing. The polished mechanics of the game are paired with amazing level design. Items are well placed, NPC paths feel natural, and there are many different entrances, exits, and shortcuts to get to your target. The levels are very fleshed out, so expect subsequent playthroughs to be much different than the last. Hitman also does a great job of immersing the player. There's so much dialogue to be heard from the NPCs, and some of the dialogue gives backstory of the targets themselves. In fact, I found the environmental storytelling to be actually more engaging than the overarching story. There's a lot to learn about each target, and the more you explore, the more you'll find. The developers did such a great job filling the game to the brim with content. Even after playing through each level many times, I still found things that I hadn't seen before. So, due to the highly replayable maps, the story mode has hours and hours of entertainment. There are 6 different maps, including 2 smaller tutorial maps that are also replayable. The maps vary in environment and in structure, making no map feel the same. If that wasn't enough, there are even multiple DLC included of alternate versions of the existing maps with different targets. In addition, you can play escalation mode, where you have to kill targets in a certain way with every level increasing in difficulty, and also contract mode, where you can kill targets that other people picked, or you can pick the targets yourself for other people to play. Every different map also has challenges which you complete by killing the targets in different ways or taking advantage of the opportunities. Challenges are separate from score, so you don't have to be an expert assassin to complete most of the challenges. In fact, you can wreak havoc and still complete challenges, which is a blast. Sometimes literally. Completed challenges give you XP, which unlocks new spawn points for the respective map and also gear and weapons. The sense of progression is nice, as the equipment unlocks can be used across all the maps. But wait, there's more! That's right, once you've completed enough challenges to get to level 20, you will achieve Mastery, which unlocks Professional mode. Professional mode is much more difficult. To name a few differences, there are no labeled opportunities, item locations are different, cameras alert guards of illegal activity, and you can only save once. As you can see, there is so much content and a lot of fun to be had. Now, for the verdict. You will like this game if you like to complete objectives strategically, you enjoy replaying sandbox-like levels, you want to be immersed in a living, breathing world, you've always wanted to pull off a perfect assassination. You will dislike this game if you don't have internet. Internet's required. Or you lack patience. So, is this a game I would recommend? Yes! Yes to the max! With amazing world design, unique gameplay mechanics, and a wealth of content, this game is nothing less than a masterpiece. Not only did the developers create an impressively deep game, but they've also made one of the most entertaining games I've played to date. If this is your type of game, I promise that you will have loads of fun. The patience and planning it takes to kill your target makes the kill that much more satisfying. And if you want to run in, guns blazing, nothing's stopping you, other than the guards. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the review, drop a like. It's the quickest way to support my channel, and it only takes a click. And remember to come to Crow for PS4 and PSVR reviews with all the grim necessities. Until next time, my friends, I'll see you in Hitman Season 2.